So back in 2012, back when I was living in San Jose and still working at a pita shop, I tweeted to Bunny Meyer, aka Graveyard Girl. She was at Disneyland or Disney World, I don't remember, and she tweeted about being in line at Peter Pan's flight, or something along those lines. Peter Pan was definitely involved. And I saw that tweet before I started my shift, and I responded with some corny ass joke about how I loved the ride or something. I don't remember my exact response, I just remember what happened next. This multi-million subscriber YouTube channel that I had been watching non-stop responded to me. She took the time out of her day to respond to me, little old nobody me, and respond to my joke and acknowledge that I in fact was alive. And when I tell you that that one little interaction meant the world to me, I mean it. I screenshotted both my iPod Touch's home screen that showed her response and showed the notification, as well as the tweet itself, and I posted the screenshot on Facebook. And for a very, 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 very uncomfortably long time, when someone would bring her up in conversation, I would talk about that really small, silly, meaningless interaction that showed she knew I was alive. Mind you, when this interaction took place, I was a year, counted a full year out of high school. Reciting that back to you guys as an adult woman now is low-key, high-key embarrassing. But I am doing that for a very, very specific reason. And that reason is because in telling these stories and going over what happened in this specific situation, the people who have come forward with their experience with Clap Daddy have been told numerous times that they are the ones at fault for what's happening, and they let things go too far somehow, and they should have realized what was happening beforehand, and they let it get out of hand, which is some grade A victim blaming garbage. But more than that, it's not acknowledging the power dynamic that these relationships that they had with Clap Daddy had. Because when you look up to someone, when you like someone's videos, when you watch all of them, and you think they are creative, funny, and cool, and they make you feel seen without even acknowledging you, and then they turn around and give you all this love and attention and affection, you tend to make excuses for their behavior. You tend to say, they're not being weird, they're just my friend, they're this person, they could never do that. These people looked up to Clap Daddy. They thought he was an amazing artist doing dope ass shit online, so when things would eventually get weird, or he would say something offhandedly about how they shouldn't leave the call, or else he would get sad and manipulate them in that way, they were quick to make excuses. There's no way he could do this, he's famous. He couldn't be manipulating me because he's my friend and he's famous and does all this cool stuff that I like and appreciate, so there's no way. I would have done the same thing in 2012 when I was obsessed with Bunny. If she had done some weird shit to me, I would have made excuses for it because I loved her. That one small interaction was enough to make me bring it up year after year. We make excuses for the people we think we are friends with. We make excuses for the people we admire. We excuse people we like, and a lot, if not all of the people he was legitimately preying on were minors who were just excited to be friends with a guy that they looked up to. So I'm going to ask right now that any of that weird victim blaming stuff not be in my comment section. I honestly can't monitor my comment section. I don't moderate it at all. I try to reply as much as I can, but I can't filter through it. I'm just genuinely asking you guys not to put that there because they are not the ones at fault here. The person at fault here is the 21-year-old TikToker with over 1 million followers who fetishizes teen trans men, have admitted to doing that, and specifically likes to get them at the beginning of their transitions because they look prepubescent, has full-on full-out admitted to be dating some of these trans men who are minors, and has used his power over these teens in order to get them to do things they wouldn't normally do, which is gross and an abuse of power, and not okay. So let's get into this, shall we? Hey guys, it's Shannon, and today we're going to be talking about Clap Daddy, aka TikTok's latest predator. I say latest because seeing as it's an app that literally anyone can join with almost no qualifications, there are quite a few on there, as there are on every website on the internet. Do you guys remember the Buddy? Yeah, me too. I wish I could forget. However, we're not going to be talking about the Buddy or any of the other predators that have graced this godforsaken platform right now. We're talking specifically about Clap Daddy and his habit of preying on underage trans men, his constant manipulation of them, and his piss poor defense where he actually implicates himself and straight up says he was dating a minor, which is a lot. Imagine being so incredibly brain dead that you turn around and say, yes, I am dating a minor. So what I was doing doing, it's not that bad because we were dating. I mean, genuinely, it makes no sense to me at all. What's worse is that as time has gone on, more and more people have come forward with their claims against Clap Daddy, including one of my own fans who sent me Discord messages as well as screenshots of some less than clothed pictures of this 21-year-old that were sent to them by that 21-year-old. But at the time being, this person has asked to remain anonymous, and so we are going to respect that. More people are still coming forward with their allegations against him and showing actual evidence of what happened, and it's alarming as hell. One of the first people who came forward who talked about this was an account called Ava, who made a video talking about their experiences with Clap Daddy, but they didn't stop there. They went further on to say that they knew many minors who had had similar experiences with Clap Daddy and who were trying to process the fact that they had actually been manipulated by him. I'm going to play the video here so you guys can understand what happened. Also, I'm going to be linking their account in the description down below if you want to see their work.
I'm going to move on to Colton. Colton is a bit trickier because of the type of people he's chosen to engage with, but he has a clear history of fetishizing trans men and also being very inappropriate towards minors. I've heard several first-hand accounts of minors interacting with Colton and Colton saying sexual things to them, being flirty with them, or just being otherwise just very inappropriate towards them. And all these minors also happen to be trans men. And in my experience with Colton, he's just very manipulative. He has a very nice persona, but there were points in the week where he was just talking shit about everyone behind their backs. I haven't been able to talk about a lot of the things that I've heard and the things that I've seen, but I just want everyone to take this information, what I've been able to tell you, and please stay safe around them and be aware of these patterns so you don't get wrapped up in it too.
Now, this is where everything kicked off, and people were rightfully wary of what was being said. Namely because this is only someone's first-hand experience, and Ava didn't exactly show any proof of what happened. After that video released, and they came forward with saying what they had witnessed and what they had heard about Colton, which is Clap Daddy's real name, his name is Colton, about him being inappropriate with trans men who are under the age of consent, proof started rolling in like a gushing fountain. I was going to summarize it myself, but this other TikToker who goes by the name of One Guy's Opinion compiled all the information that was made public and said it better than I could ever say myself. I didn't want to step on anyone's toes, so I'm going to put his clips right here, show you guys exactly what happened, and also link it down below.
Yesterday I said if I had any proof of what Colton did, I'd gladly go after him. Well, when people are telling the truth, proof comes in quickly. Colton, who's a 22-year-old adult man who likes to use his influence on TikTok to talk to children, had a 16-year-old child come up with screenshots from Discord conversations with him. What you need to pay attention to is the grooming behavior, saying things like, "You shouldn't leave me." A child is going to have an emotional reaction to that and suddenly start caring about the person who's grooming them, as evidenced by, "Are you okay though?" There's more convo, and more conversation, and more conversation, and even more conversation spanning over several days. The kid providing the screenshots is in Europe, and notice the cell phone company. Wouldn't you know, they only serve European countries, meaning no kid in California or Texas faked this. And the biggest piece of proof is his 4-digit unique number, which I won't share until I get screenshots from other kids. He did this to multiple kids. Another child on this app who's been sharing their story over the past few days has provided me a screenshot of Clap Daddy's Discord username, and the ID numbers match. Again, I will not show that number until I receive another confirmation from another kid. This was the child that Colton was messaging back when he was 16. Here's some of their conversation on Discord. Notice the dates of the conversation matches the other victim, as well as notice how Colton's encouraging a child to send him pictures of themselves. Further conversation. And further conversation where Clap Daddy mentions to this child that he will duet him. The message was sent on September 27th. And look who duetted that same child 3 days later. So be sure and let me know how these Discord messages are faked. There's one more kid I'm waiting for confirmation on, and then I'll share the unique ID number showing how 3 kids magically have the same ID number and conversations during the same time from the same person. Proof sure doesn't get found quickly when people are telling the truth. Here's the ID number from the first kid, the second kid, and now the third kid. So we got 3 kids under the age of 18 who all have been having conversations with the same person on Discord with the same ID number. The same ID number and person saying that they'll do a duet, and 3 days later, Clap Daddy does the duet. The same account that answers to the name Colton and keeps calling children handsome. The same account that likes to send pictures from below the waist to children that are underage. And have tons of phone calls with. Tons. With children. And again, give me a second, cutie. And again, answers to the name Colton. And this is the 17-year-old kid they were talking to. A very clear pattern of behavior with children.
Now, there are a lot of things we can unpack in those Discord leaks because they are point blank awful and show a clear pattern of manipulation. But one thing I want to touch on is how freaking long these Discord calls are. In the screenshots I was sent privately, along with the screenshots that were released, Colton would spend hours, sometimes over 10 hours, on these calls with young boys under the age of consent. He was talking to these literal minors for a better part of their day, to the point where one of the victims, he was talking to him and he literally felt delirious. This is something that is extremely, extremely common in people who are trying to manipulate you and trying to prey on you. Because the more time you are spending with them, the less time you are spending with others, who are going to say, yeah, maybe that 21-year-old who makes mafia TikToks, who keeps saying weird shit like you're so handsome every 5 seconds and hot, and keeps sending you photos of his bottom half, maybe he's a little weird. Maybe that's a weird thing. Maybe you shouldn't talk to him. He was isolating them and talking to them nonstop, to the point where these teens under the age of consent are incredibly tired, but they don't want to get off the call because it's with someone they admire and look up to. He was wearing them out on these long ass calls. That way, when they are talking, they weren't exactly in the right headspace and will do and say things they wouldn't normally do. Again, take for example the kid who said he had been on the call for so long and was incredibly tired and quote delirious. In that specific case, he stated that he was laughing nonstop in his parents' room and Colton took it upon himself to move the conversation from normal to sexual. He started asking this minor what his kinks were, what he was into, and this actual straight up teen under the age of consent said later that had he not been this tired, had he not been this delirious, he wouldn't have responded. He would have had red flags. But since he was so tired from talking to Colton for so long, he just responded normally. That is textbook manipulation. And those are the actions of someone who preyed on others long enough know how to get teens into those situations. That is not your first time. That's not your first rodeo. The allegations came pouring out, and obviously with more and more people coming forward with their experiences with this man and how he was preying on young trans men, everyone wanted to see what was going to happen next. Everyone was waiting to see how he would respond. Would he address his blatant attempts to pressure young men into spending the night with him in hotels? Would he address his 12-hour phone calls with minors, or him sending crotch shots as well? What was he going to do to respond to this? Or was he simply going to pull a Nikita Dragon and ignore it? Well, he did this. And be prepared. What I'm about to show you is real fucking dumb.
I'm here to share you my side of the story and to show you guys all the accusations made against me and to show you what's been manipulated and twisted, not by me, but by other people. Now, I'd like to tell you the accusations made against me, that I am a groomer, that I am a pedophile, that I'm a predator, that I fetishize trans men, and I fetishize trans minors. Now, I'm going to show you guys all the accusations made against me, all the screenshots I've gotten from people who have texted saying all the stuff I've done to them. Now, you can pause the video to read it, and then I'll speak about it. Now, the first person to make accusations against me was this person who texted Lucas, Vegetarian Water, and told them this is not them, that this is their friend, saying that I met him at a con. Not specifying which con, because I've only been to one con, and that was KatsuCon. But just a con. Tell him how I touched him, how I made him feel uncomfortable, and joking and stuff. Showing no proof or evidence that I have done this. Here's the second person accusing me, saying that I would pressure him into sending him things. Taken, screenshotted off of Lucas's or Vegetarian Water's profile, texting who I would assume, Lucas, showing no proof or evidence that I have done any of that. This is the third accusation set against me, taking off of Vegetarian Water's profile, saying back in November when they met me for the first time, that his brother went to school with me, not specifying which school, just school in general, and introduced this person to me. 1, I wasn't in school back in November, and 2, what school did I go to? If this happened, then you have to know what school I went to. Here's the latest one that Ava posted on her Instagram, and this person telling everyone that I talked to them when they were 13, a year ago when I was doing mafia stuff. I wasn't doing mafia stuff a year ago. I started that in October. Now, these are all the accusations that I know of or have seen made against me because these were on Vegetarian Water's Instagram story or Ava Lee's Instagram story. Now, mostly everyone has blocked me from the Instagram story, but not their Instagram. I could still see their Instagram, but not their Instagram story. So if this is all true, then why hide it? Why hide it from me? Now, an accusation says that I talk to minors. Yes, I do talk to minors. I'm on TikTok. I am in a cosplay community. I talk to anyone, no matter their age, race, or gender. Another accusation is that I fetishize trans people. I do not fetishize trans people. Yes, that is my preference. I like trans people. I like trans men, but I do not fetishize over them. Now, yes, I talk to a lot of trans people because I support the community, because that is my preference, and I want to help them as best as I can. Another accusation made against me is that I flirt with minors. No, I do not flirt with minors. As you can see with everyone posting their pictures that I've talked to them, I've only complimented them. Yes, I compliment people. I compliment everybody. Why? Because it makes people feel good about themselves. I know people have low self-esteem and are self-conscious. So yes, I compliment people. I say, hey, you're very handsome, or hey, you're very pretty, just to make you feel better. Someone who said that I complimented them was Internet Bad or Jet. And yes, I did compliment them. I also bought him a shirt. I bought his brother a shirt. I bought myself a shirt. Why? Because I was a fan of his and I wanted to be nice. Yes, he said that I fangirled over him. I did. I told him I was fangirling. Why? Because in his first account he made transition videos. And I am a fan of transition videos. So yes, I have complimented people. Yes, I have bought people stuff. I have helped people with their cosplay stuff. Why? Because they were friends, and I'm generous. I was raised with good morals and values, and to be generous to people, especially my friends. With Lucas, he states in Jet's comments that I gave him $60 for his birthday. Yes, I did. Why? Because it was his birthday and we were friends. Now, another topic I'd like to move to is with Quiva and her video that she made about me. Now, no, I cannot personally see that video because she has blocked me on an Instagram story. But I've had friends who sent me that video and I have seen it, and I have questions about it. One of my questions is that she stated that I made her feel uncomfortable, and I forced her to do things. Now, why, if I made her feel uncomfortable and forced her to do things, she would 98% of the time drive down to my house and hang out with me? I did not force her, that was on her own free will. So if I'm such a bad person, why come down and hang out? And I'd like to move to another topic about my Discord. Yes, that is my Discord. And that one guy's opinion shared my private Discord, who I have not shared with the public, to everybody. And Ava even duetted it. Yes, that person I was talking to, their name was Casey. What they don't tell you is that we were technically dating without saying we were dating. And they only showed my messages, but not his messages. And that nude I sent wasn't actually a nude. They just covered it up to make it look like a nude. I'd also like to thank Vegetarian Water or Lucas for sharing my Snapchat with the public. And with me and Casey talking, there's more to that story as well. I would also like to talk about that this is the Snapchat that Vegetarian Water or Lucas showed everybody. Yes, I sent Casey one thing. Casey sent me 6 more because we were dating at the time. I'd also like to thank to whoever screenshotted my location on Snapchat. Because one, you didn't even put my life in danger, but I was at my best friend's house and you put his life in danger. To sum everything up, those accusations made against me were wrong. And this whole situation should have never been on TikTok. It should have never been on any social media platform. This should have all been done and handled in a private manner. I've also not given out anyone's private information because that is doxing, which is illegal. You guys have your own opinion on this situation, and that's okay. I would like to thank my fans and friends for supporting me through this. I will also be staying on TikTok to make more content for you guys. Thank you.
So I'm fully aware that what I just showed you was awful, and 90% of you guys left while that was happening. Like, while I played that, y'all just clicked off the video because it's so fucking bad and annoying. But if you are still here, I don't know, put a vomiting emoji or something in the comments of how annoying those clips were. Because I'm a bitch and I'm annoyed, we are going to go point by fucking point over all of his bullshit, all of his arguments, and go over why it's stupid. Because oh freaking boy was it stupid. Now, Colton's first response to everything is to show screenshots that have since come out about him making various other people feel uncomfortable. Those screenshots included someone saying they saw him at a con and he had touched them, another said they were related to someone who had gone to school with them, and so on and so forth. However, I haven't seen a single damn person talk about those screenshots that were sent over Instagram, or even acknowledging them besides saying, here are more potential victims, however, we don't have evidence of their claims. These are not the posts that are damning, and Colton knows this. Colton putting these posts and making this point first and foremost foremost in his argument is a manipulation tactic, which is supposed to make his own fans think, oh, the evidence that has come out is shaky at best. There is no proof of it. And if this is the best evidence they have against him, they really don't have much. It's basically customary in arguing to start with the topic that is most important and to go down, because that is the center and main crux of arguing. Like, if someone said, Shannon, I don't think you like cheese, and I also think you're a blatant thief who kills people, you wouldn't expect me to focus initially on the cheese part. You wouldn't expect me to be like, hey, I do like cheese. You would expect me to focus on saying how, no, I'm not a thief, I've never killed people, and here's the proof. So him purposely deflecting and purposely showing this as his first argument is, wow, such a manipulation tactic. It's literally meant to tell people, all that other proof you saw, that's not real, this stuff is real. Even though he will go on later to talk about the real proof and just not address it, just not say anything at all. Another manipulation tactic that he used is to assure his audience that no, he isn't a bad guy, and these people literally have no evidence besides this one point. He's also expecting that most people won't continue to watch his other TikToks addressing this because this is early on in the 7-part TikTok series, and usually multi-part TikToks go on to have less viewers as they continue. 2. His second point is that he said, I talk to minors because I talk to anyone, regardless of age, gender, or sexuality. This to me is just such a dumb response. It's just peak dumb. Because he knows for a fact we aren't saying that talking to minors in general is a bad thing that you should ever do. We are saying the way in which he did it is bad. You were constantly complimenting them, Colton. Constantly calling them and trying to make these minors talk to you for hours at a time, neglect their schoolwork, neglect what they were supposed to be doing, and you were asking these minors about their sexuality. That's all stuff we genuinely don't like, that you are genuinely not supposed to do. You can talk to whoever the fuck you want, as long as you aren't a fucking creep about it. I talk to people all the time who I don't know their ages. They could be minors, they could be older. But you know what I don't do? Be fucking creepy, you dingus. He also frames it to make it seem like he's such a good person for talking to anyone, no matter what their age, race, or gender. As if not talking to someone sexually who happens to be underage is somehow the same as choosing not to talk to someone because of their race or their sexuality. It's not the same, dude. He is blatantly deflecting and misrepresenting what he is talking about because he thinks everyone is very, very, very stupid, and the people who are arguing and mad at him are also very stupid. Also, I just want to point out that in this video, he's wearing a barbed wire collar, which is ironic because some of his actions are eventually going to land him in jail one day. Third point is that he said he doesn't fetishize trans people, but yes, trans men, young trans men, are his preference. Now, I hate this with almost everything in my body. Because you know what trans people are? They're just people. You know what trans women are? Women. You know what trans men are? Men. End of. It's how you should view them. So when you say trans men are your preference, that is fetishizing their transness, instead of just allowing them to be whoever they want to be and treating them with that respect. If you don't want to be a fucking moron who knows nothing and makes himself look worse with every breath you freaking take, you wouldn't have said this at all, because you just proved everyone's point with what you said here. In this statement, you actually did what you said you weren't doing. Trans people are not a preference, you fucking idiot. They're people. I'm losing it. My ear itches and I need to get a water. I'll be right back. Okay. His fourth point was saying that he doesn't flirt with minors, compliments minors, and that he's just friendly. Now this point is almost the worst. Almost. It's not quite the worst. All his points are the worst because these are all so bad. But basically he's saying he doesn't flirt with minors. He just compliments them because he is nice and he compliments everyone and he's just so nice because he wants to make people feel good because he's just a nice guy, which is just so dumb. Because if you read the messages between the underage people he is texting with and spending 12 hours on call with, it's not normal text. It's not, hey, how are you? How are you doing? It's, hello, handsome. Hey, cutie. What's going on? When are you getting back on call? It's very clearly flirty texts that are flirty, and he's just peak stupid. He also goes on to contradict this point by saying later that he dated one of these people and they were dating but not dating. So what is it? Was it romantic or was it not? Because you're just saying, I didn't say anything romantic, and then saying, well, it was romantic because you dingus. His fifth point is that if he had made someone who came out against him uncomfortable, why would they still hang out with him after? Them hanging out with him, then spending time with him, makes that point incredibly invalid. Which is so not true, you dumbass. Because Colton, you are so manipulative and manipulative with people, you have a certain amount of power over them in situations, and they will make excuses for you. And this person who still drove, still wanted to hang out with you, they probably didn't want to believe that their friend, someone they trusted, someone they liked, would do that to them on purpose. They probably didn't acknowledge what you were doing. Here's a little story to just illuminate that point. I once had a friend who would get annoyed and borderline pissed off, not borderline, they would get pissed off at me every time I cried. Every time I showed a sad emotion or a weak emotion, she didn't like it, and she didn't like it when people showed emotions like that. Because she was my friend, and I loved her, and we had good times besides that, I opted just to train myself to not share those emotions with her because they made her mad, and just I wouldn't tell her what I was feeling when things got hard, when I got upset. We were friends for 10 years, and then after a while, after talking to other people, I realized that holy fucking shit, that is a bad dynamic. And her getting mad at me to the point of slamming a door on my hand and yelling at me for having emotions, that wasn't normal. That wasn't friendship. That wasn't cool. Up until that point, up until someone had to explain that to me, I was just cool with it because I loved her and I thought we were friends. I just overlooked it. I didn't realize how manipulative it was. And the same goes for your former friend because they overlooked your actions. It's very fucking simple. Ya dingus. Now, this is pretty much his last point, but it's not really a point because he just says all the screenshots and evidence from the Discord were accurate and they were real. And then he tries to shift it into being bad that they were shared without his permission. And that's bad that that happened, which, no, it's not. It's just such a weird move to try to deflect you saying, I was in a relationship with a minor, but the bad thing here is that you guys leaked my private Discord, and now people are sending me friend requests that I can ignore and not talk to. Are you okay, sir? Are you okay? Because it doesn't seem like you're okay. He's trying to reframe the scenario and just doing such a bad job at it, which is why this was taken down. He also goes on to say that him and one of the people who came forward were dating but not dating, and that's why they talked so much and everyone's blowing it out of proportion because they were exploring a romantic connection and whatnot. But again, he is not saying that this person is a minor and under the age of legal consent, the age that is at minimum 4 years younger than him. It's just so incredibly dumb that I feel dumb having spent so much time talking about it. Having to break it down for this moron with his barbed wire collar is difficult. Personally, though, I think Clap Daddy is trash. His argument is trash. His fake eye scar thing is trash. Him fetishizing trans men is trash. Him fetishizing minors is peak trash. And in this house, we take the trash out. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Be sure not to put any victim blaming stuff in there. We want to support the people because they have proof that goes along with their allegations. They have shown their side. They have shown that they are in the right and correct. And I will see you guys in my next video. Later.
Something I want kids on this app and small creators on this app to understand is TikTok has a very clear power structure, and we all know this. The more followers somebody has, the more power or clout they have, and everyone's on here just to grow their accounts. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to get bigger and understand an adult or a popular creator has no use for a child or for a small creator. You're not going to help grow their account, and you're not going to give them tons of money because you're underage. There's no need for a popular creator or an adult creator to be talking to a child. You're not going to benefit them in any way. It should set off a red flag to you of, why on earth is this person trying to talk to me? And I'm sorry, but it's not because you're special. It's because they want to use their clout to manipulate you. If a popular creator or if an adult creator wants to be nice to you and just be respectful, they'll duet one of your videos or comment on one of your videos. There's no need to talk to you privately. Now that the evidence is out about 22-year-old Clap Daddy, I wanted to clarify something. This below-the-belt selfie that he sent to an underage child is not edited to be funny. It's edited because when I originally uploaded it, it was taken down because it was a violation of the community guidelines. Let that sink in based on everything you see uploaded on this app, that the pictures he's sending to underage children violate those guidelines. Despite the fact that LGBTQ kids on this app are constantly bombarded by videos talking about how all cisgender straight white men are evil, Clap Daddy was able to gain the trust of underage trans males. A group of kids constantly bullied on this app and constantly reminded of their biological gender. That's why in his direct messages to these children, he constantly reminded them of how handsome they were. He was able to gain their trust and have private one-on-one conversations with them because of the size of his account. He used that to gain their trust and speak with them privately.